All right, guys, what is going on? Quick message. I'm going to make this one real fast, to the point. Stop eating out. What are you people thinking? Honestly, you want to talk about being part of the Matrix. Well, go down into downtown and just fucking freely eat. Go to the bars, hop around, eat all the junk. What do you think they're cooking the food with in these restaurants, folks? I don't care how fancy it is. Luckily, hopefully, it'll be butter, but more often than not, it's cheap seed oils. They call them vegetable oils. There's not a single vegetable in vegetable oil. It's all seed oils. Have you ever seen the extensive amount of treatment that it takes to even make these seed oils palatable? Folks, there's like 17 stages. Deodorizing. Oftentimes there's bleaching involved. Removing the bad taste from these seed oils. What do you think that avocado, or what would be a good example? What do you think vegetable oil is? It's a mixture of, I think last time I checked, it's soybean oil, corn oil, and cottonseed oil. What do you think when that stuff's produced? It just comes out of the seed tasting good or palatable? Absolutely not, folks. I mean, get a grip. They're using the cheapest ingredients, even in very fancy restaurants. You'd be surprised. So yeah, all these people talking about, we got to break away from the system and this, that, and the other, yet they're eating the fucking garbage that the system provides them. And don't tell me it doesn't provide them garbage, or us garbage, folks. I mean, Jesus Christ, in my hometown, in a particular part of California, it has become such a pig pen. It is disgusting. When I was a young boy, there was hardly anything here. And now it is just this giant colony of crap and sheep useful idiots shuffling around in the traffic, you name it, eating from all the garbage food. Fast food joints on every intersection, every corner. Starbucks is everywhere, folks, with the pastries and the crap coffee full of glyphosate. Go up the road a little bit and you'll find all sorts of steak houses. You'll see all sorts of garbage restaurants. And if you really look at what they're cooking the food with, folks, it's garbage seed oils, oxidized crap. And that's just beginning to scrape the tip of the iceberg, because more often than not, the food that they're using is not good quality. And most importantly, folks, and I can't stress this enough, and I don't see anyone else talking about this, the stress levels of the chefs, it goes into the food. If you are sensitive to energy, you can just feel all the negative energy in this food. It's an assembly line. It's a fucking assembly line. And you think it tastes so good because you're not sensitive to energy. And on top of that, and to add insult to energy, you're desensitized. You're desensitized. Your palate is so fucked because you've never gone without. You've never fasted all the crap out of you. You've never retrained your palate. You've never gone in to the body's self-recycling and maintenance process known as autophagy. I call it autophagy. And this process is induced through fasting. Going without gives you more. It is indeed true that less is more. By fasting, you can rid yourself of your addictions, retrain your palate. Every part of your body benefits from fasting. It's a regeneration sequence. But what do? 3 meals a day, often more than that, snacking in between, garbage ice cream and cake at night. Yeah, you're not part of the Matrix, right? Wow. We've all got to grow up and take some personal responsibility, folks. If we ever want to get out of this mess, and yes, things as subtle as eating, which in fact isn't a subtle thing, is programming you and killing you slowly. You ever wonder why you feel like shit? You ever stop to think that maybe it's what you're eating? Look at your habits. Contemplate what you've been clinging to quote Tools 46 and 2. Go into the metamorphosis process, and that's going to require your effort. No one else is going to do it for you. Hopefully, by stumbling across this video, I can put some heat under your ass to get moving, because deep down you want progress. Deep down you don't want to be part of this sick system. You don't want to be eating this crap. Start making your own food. Tap into the work of Masaru Emoto. Put your energy into your food. What are you thinking? Why are you letting other people make food for you? Restaurants are a problem. They serve garbage food. I mean, this is just a total mess. In restaurants, in the garbage food in the supermarkets, you name it, that's just a big, tiny little piece to the overall toxic wheel of Pandora's box, which is opened now, folks. And we continue to pry it open when we engage with this sick system. You need to be in this world, but not of it. But many of you people don't even know how to contemplate that. You don't know how to integrate it. You're caught in the miasma, in a giant toxic spider web, metaphorically speaking. So you know what you do? Well, you realize first and foremost that you're in that web. You realize that, holy shit, I'm stuck. I can't seem to move. You gather your energy. You reserve your energy. That's how you start. And you start to contemplate the ways out of the mess. How do you get out of the web? Well, you're stuck on the web largely because your biology's been terraformed by years of garbage food, not to mention all the aerosols you're breathing and the crap water. And that's just a tiny little piece to this. What do you think years of watching horror films and all the debauchery has done to you, especially when you were a young little boy or girl? Why do you think you had nightmares? And many of you people that watch my videos, you know, because I've talked to a lot of people and I've read a lot of comments on my videos where I talk about nightmares when they come for you as a young boy or a girl. You know what's up. You remember deep down. You see, you were brought into a sinful world. That doesn't make you sinful. You're born innocent. But you begin to take on characteristics of this sinful world as you develop in it. Because you are a herd-based creature. You mimic your parents. You mimic your peers. You mimic your teachers. You integrated. So you want to learn how to get out of the toxic spider web of culture before you get chewed alive by the giant spider waiting for you? Well, you've got to disengage. You've got to integrate in the opposite direction. It's called disintegration. You've got to remove yourself from the inertia of death and propel yourself forward through your own actions. It's called becoming alive again. And you fan the flames of your own health by your actions. Health leads to clarity if done properly, because health is not just a physical thing. It's mental and spiritual and emotional and many other layers to this. It's auric, it's Merkavik, you name it. Excuse me. Real health will cause you to grow. So as you develop yourself, as you rebuild yourself, like you're molding clay, through your actions, your mind will become clearer and clearer and clearer. And then you'll be able to see through the bullshit. You'll be able to see how almost everyone out here is a lost soul trapped in a physical body experiencing a physical experience. You got to remove yourself from this. All of you guys want to be with people. You want to go, oh, I need to hang out with my friends. You're a fool. Yeah, it's like, and that's a hard thing for people to grasp. What are you talking about, Brandon? You think I shouldn't have friends? Well, what the fuck is the point of a friend if you're lost? Just two lost souls enjoying the emptiness together? You have to find yourself, and that's only done through your own alchemy, fanning the flames of your own evolution. It's called kundalini. But you think health is just, oh, I take a multivitamin and I go swimming. I go to bed on time. There's holy shit. The programming is so extensive. Real health, aka alchemy, will lead you into Christ consciousness if done properly. It's called gnosis. And through that, you become a divine war weapon against the evil in this world. You see, through kundalini, you become more real than the world around you. You become more organic than the real world around you. You see how everyone, for the most part, are like marionettes connected to their programming. Their programming is a hidden hand above them somewhere controlling their lives. It's called being a sheep. I hate sheep. You will get to the point where you can see the truth. You'll be able to sense the stench of the lost souls. And it's not that we hate the lost souls. It's that you cannot save them. Sure, you can help them to some extent, but you will end up doing more damage trying to help people. You have to focus on yourself. What are you talking about, Sacred Serpent? You have a YouTube video. You're trying to help people. No, I've created a platform that people can come to on their own volition. I'm not out here with a megaphone trying to coerce people into seeing the light. No, that's on you. Something in you led you to this channel. Am I wrong? The desire for wisdom led you here. The desire for knowledge, and knowledge and wisdom are totally different. We've talked about that in the past. What a mess. All right, guys, so I had to pause and go get a jacket because it's cold as fuck out here. I don't remember where we left off with that. But you better hunt and stalk your own evolution. You better stalk it like a hunter stalks its prey. You better put your eyes directly over your development, over what your higher self, essentially, folks, because no one else is going to do it for you. You've got to hone your craft. You've got to become more intelligent, live a tighter life, to quote Don Juan Matus, the Yaqui Indian sorcerer that taught Carlos throughout Carlos Castaneda's novels. Get a grip. Hunt your development. Stalk it. Because, folks, it's very easy to have goldfish syndrome. What do I mean by that? It's a little term I coined to describe having a short attention span. Goldfish, at least they say, have a very short attention span before they forget and move on to something else. Not that they have much else to do than swim, but you catch my drift. There are so many distractions in this world that you might get on track for a short period of time and fall off and forget about everything you set in motion. You see, you have to have unbending intent, to quote Carlos again. You have to have unbreakable will. You have to take no for an answer constantly, every second of the day. You can, or how would I say, I think I fucked that up. You have to say no to the insanity. It has to be your heartbeat, folks. It has to be in your breath. Every part of you has to reject this madness. Otherwise, you will integrate back into it by default through your failures and through the mass weight or inertia of culture coming down on you. Remember, you've been programmed to be a hive mind, Borg creature of sorts. You want to fit in with your peers. Well, sadly, folks, and I can't say this for everyone, but many of your peers are lost souls. What are you trying to fit in with them for? You should be leading by example. Yes, nature confirms my message. Did you not hear that? If you didn't, go back and listen again. You can find confirmation from the world around you at all times, the natural world at least. You see, I've gone beyond the limits of what I was supposed to. I've broken through. I've gone past the ordinary, ladies and gentlemen, into the non-ordinary, into the extraordinary, into the extrasensory, into the paranormal. I've pierced beyond the perceptual veil. And I can tell you goddamn right now that we are being led astray. We are being led by demons. An iniquitous oligarchy composed largely, but not entirely, of an elite class of psychopathic technocrats, behavioral psychologists, eugenicists, you name it. These are wolves in sheep's clothing, luring you in before they bite. You better snap out of your trance. Man, Sacred Serpent, you're so negative, bro. You make everything so scary. If you think my message is scary, holy shit. You wait until you get a glimpse of the truth. Because what they're gearing up to do to humanity is beyond your wildest dreams, and they've already succeeded, largely. They've gotten you to participate in your own death, the acceleration of your own death. You see, your light has been snuffed out. It's called kundalini, Christ consciousness, the Holy Spirit. They've successfully helped you help yourself snuff the flames out. See what I'm saying? And now all you get is the faint hint of the smoke from the candle wick being burnt out or being snuffed out. Catch my drift? You better tune your intuition, your natural compass that God gave you, so that you can smell that smoke and realize that, holy shit, there's supposed to be a flame burning. Where did it go? You see, the human being is a war weapon against evil. You're a fire bound in flesh, a divine fire. It's called soul. This is a giant human experiment, and we are the test subjects, moron. You better start paying attention. Like right now, I'm doing what I do every night. I've got my electric hot plate out here. Not the best. I wish I had natural flame, but I can't do that right now. I've got my hot plate out here. What time is it? It's 10:45. The soup needs to cook for another hour. I'll eat around midnight. I'm cooking my own food. I've blessed I've fumigated all my food with sacred resins and the incense that are perfumed out of them when ignited. I've blessed all my food with sigils, talismans. I keep certain things in particular blessed jars, kind of like I'm not going to say that. I put so much time into what I consume. This is my craft. I know that my body is going to take the information from the food I give it and rebuild itself, but I'm not trying to build myself in an ordinary fashion like the sheep. I eat to ignite and fan the flames of my spirit that is anchored in my physical flesh. I am hunting. I am stalking gnosis tirelessly. Every single cell in my body is dedicated to this. Every single cell in my body is in complete opposition to this tyranny going on here. Every breath I take is a mighty war chant against evil. And don't try to tell me that's not the case, because there's a good chance you have not gotten to where I am. And I'm not trying to sound like a dick. But you know what, guys? The bells are ringing. We are entering into a dystopia, the likes of which you cannot even fathom in your conditioned state. I am not here to judge my viewers. I am here to, in my passion, hopefully ignite or help you ignite the flames of your own evolution so that you hopefully can discover your true will. We all have a will, folks. We all have a purpose here. You've never heard that? Oh, God's got a plan for you. Well, that's true in some respect. I'm not talking about the Christian God, which is the devil hiding in disguise. You have a will within you. You have a purpose here, folks. But what are they trying to do? They're trying to take, quote, God's purpose for you and replace it with distractions and obligations and tasks and stress. You see, when you're stressed long enough with bills and whatnot, you don't have time for gnosis. You don't have time to even follow your heart anymore, or your intuition. How could you? You're stressed to death. You don't sleep well. You're worried all the time. And I know because I've been there, and I am still there to some extent. A good amount of stress is healthy, but the stress that they're giving us is way too weaponized, and it causes the accelerated decay of the body and the mind. And before you know it, you're caught in a cycle. Every day is exactly the same. Kind of like that 9 Inch Nails song. Every day is exactly the same. You're locked into a muscle memory pattern, your habits daily. You do the same damn thing for the most part every day with subtle variations. This is why time goes by so fast. It's because you have nothing new to expect. You only expect the familiar. And that's why days bleed into one another. Do you not see this? Are you not paying attention? What is wrong with you? I mean, again, I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but holy shit, you guys. So, Luna's out here with me. The moon is closing in on full. And under her luminous rays sits a 4-sided table, a special table, an Enochian table. And on that Enochian table, underneath the moon's luminous rays that are so bright right now that I could read a book, sits my hot plate. Underneath, or the hot plate sits on a sigil. It's plugged in, and I have a pot, a very special pot, a very old pot, a family heirloom. And in it is distilled water, chunks of beef heart fat and beef heart, and chunks, multiple, of chuck roast. There's a little bit of bacon fat in there as well. Quality bacon, something that most people never, ever touch. Or even, they're not concerned about, the quality of foods. I have this boiling. It's been boiling for over an hour on kind of like a medium-low boil, extracting all of the nutrients, the mitochondria, the essence of these organs and this muscle meat into the water. It's just sitting there. I have incense around it. I'm not going to get too deep into it, and I didn't really even want to bring that up. There's also some celery. There's some potato, red potato, some carrot, and some sacred spices. It's going to cook for another hour. And around midnight, when I break my fast, I will enter into a gateway. I will talk about this at a later time. You see, my life is magical. I don't live my life like you. We are not the same. And I'm not pointing my fingers at anyone in particular. So if you have a problem with that, or if you're offended at me saying that, you should question that. I don't live my life like the sheep. I just don't. I am stalking daily gnosis, ladies and gentlemen, and food is such a big part of that. And if you do it right, it will lead to quantum developments and leaps in your health. How many of you people are doing this? I'm not talking about just throwing some meat on a pan and frying it and then just eating it mindlessly. You've got to get your mind right. You've got to understand what food is and also how your thoughts affect the food that you're eating. But how would you know that? You only exist within the visible light spectrum. You exist within the confines of your conditioning. You've never pierced through that protective membrane as a child pierces through into this world when he or she is born. The world does not work the way that you think it does. And what are you, essentially, at the end of the day? You're an amalgam of units of information that you've accepted from your peers in the world around you as fact. You've accepted them as gospel without knowing why. So all you know is what you know, what you've been taught. And we live in a world of lost souls that are teaching people the wrong things without even knowing it. They think they're on the right track. You see, the blind lead the blind. They always have. This is a test. And the test is to see if you can get off the sheep plantation, the slave plantation. See, people talk about slavery a lot, not even realize that they're enslaved. What do you think this is? Earth is an energy farm, fool. But you don't understand what vril is. You don't understand what life force is, what ki is. You don't realize that the body produces a magical essence. It's called energy, and that energy can be extracted. But again, you only exist in the visible light spectrum. You're not aware of all the stuff around you that's feeding off of you. You can't even sense the hedge maze that you've been put in to confuse you, to keep you from achieving gnosis, which is liberation. Gnosis is divine intervention. You see, the Christian sheep tell you to have faith. The Gnostics, no, you don't have faith. You don't have faith until you don't have faith until you have evidence to believe in that. Gnosis is direct connection with God. This happens through one thing and one thing only. It's called kundalini energy. We're built like an energy circuit. Body's a battery, and the mind is the operating software of the battery. We have a electrical energy within us that's supposed to be kindled and moving through our body, our cerebral spinal system, our cauda equina, up through our sushumna, through all our meridians. And this kundalini energy, when it's ignited and in the head, oh man, I'm not even going to say what I want to say right now. Gnosis is direct communion with God. What the fuck are you having faith for? You can have faith until the day you die. A lot of people die with faith. What a miserable way to go out. See, we have the ability to understand God while in the flesh, because we are an extension of God. I call it the pleroma, the monad. You see, we have the essence of the divine within us. It's called the Promethean fire. When the Creator I'm not even going to say that, because I don't want to get off into some huge tangent about Yaldabaoth, the demiurge. All I'm here to say, folks, is you better put the pedal to the metal. You better get busy, because no one else is gonna do it for you. And I don't want to see you get to a point in life where you have no time. Because days lead to weeks, weeks lead to months, months lead to years, and years lead to decades. And before you know it, you haven't done anything that you wanted to do. You have to get active. You have to create your own manifesto. You have to create your own cyclical loop of energy quantification or augmentation. You see, your lifestyle better be charging your battery, because if not, you're on your way out. Every day is a miserable existence where you get closer to your death. See, I don't get closer to my death. I don't operate on the operating system that the sheep do. And how could their lifestyles bring them anything other than accelerated death? Everything that they do is enshrouded in death. And what is death? For one, death is ignorance. Your mind has died. Your intuition has been snuffed out. Part of you is dead. You only exist within a small fraction of your potential. That means all that stuff that's untapped, that's death. until you resurrect it through your action in your own discovery, your alchemy. Morons. My God, what are you thinking? So again, the world does not work the way you think it does. You've been led astray by the wrong people. You've taken their units of information that were taught to you at a young age by design. It's molded you into who you are. Now you're a useful idiot for the system and you don't even know it. And many of you think that you're rebellious against the system, not even knowing that the system wants people like you that aren't even aware of their conditioning, yet speak out against the conditioning, right? Fools. Laughing stock for the philanthropists. Laughing stock for the individuals who sit behind the scenes, the Council of 300, that all want to see you die. And they want to see you participate in your own death. It's called committing suicide. You're not even aware of it. You're committing suicide daily. What an experience. What a ride. Holy shit. I have my fermented water here, distilled water. It's got banana in it. It's got some coconut. And although these bananas aren't natural, folks, they're a man-made creation. Real banana seeds have thousands of seeds. They're hard to eat. But you know what? I'm on a tight budget right now, so I do the best I can. I need these fruit sugars for my energy. This water is teeming full of life. It sits on a special anointed vessel or a countertop. You see, I'm not just consuming the fermented water when I drink this. I'm consuming the sigilized energy that's been woven into the water structure. Your body's largely aqueous. You might want to start working with water. Be water, my friend. A lot of people like to say that. A lot of people like to quote Bruce Lee. But my God, are you actually living it? Because walking the path and knowing the path are entirely different things. And you're at a fork in the road, aren't you? If you've made it this far in this video, there's a good chance that you've been struggling to stay on the path. Get on it. Stop thinking so much about it. Get on it and do it. Enough's enough. You see, they want you to not be able to take an idea and turn it into a reality. They want to constantly make you have these blockages. It's called archons, parasites, you name it. They interfere with your way. They interfere with you. But if your will is strong enough, your light, metaphorically speaking, will be so bright that they flee from you. You've got to become an unstoppable force. And it's going to take a lot of change for you to achieve that state. And many people, many of you won't get there. That's mean, Sacred Serpent. I don't care. If you're offended by that, it means that it's moving you. You should listen to that. You have the ability to change. You can do it. But not if you don't believe you can. I'm going to wrap this one up. Adios.